I was proud of my young ladies today. When you look at this stat sheet, I never share our stat sheet with our players, but I wanted them to see it because everything was so even from attempts. We told our kids we're usually averaging about 65 to 70 possessions a game. And I told them we would slow the game down because of our lack of depth today. And they listened, and for the most part, we executed. One basket short of both teams, 28 for 53, 29 for 53. We were playing the nation's leading free throw shooting team. We shot more free throws than them, and we limited them in free throws. Now, we got better last game, but we missed 15 free throws this game, which could have changed the outcome of the game. What I'm most proud of is how my team stuck together. Those young ladies battled for each other. They followed the game plan. We got into a little foul trouble and, gave up a little run during that time. And we didn't have the continuity through substitution that we were looking for in I believe it was the third quarter, where we went on a little lapse offensively. After all of that, we fought back. After all of that, we had 23 assists on 28 baskets. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's discipline, that's trust, and that's execution. I'm proud of our young ladies. I told them we ain't doing this moral victory thing, ladies, but how they responded, how resilient our kids were. That's what I'm most proud of with this group.
A couple key absences, no Jada Mason, no Shamira Williams, if you want to touch up on that before we get to the game.
Yeah, we were actually out another one. We actually were out Page Club, and we didn't know how much Sequoia Allman would be able to give us because she was nursing an injury, coming back from an injury, and played in a little pain, today. But that was all. I told them, I said, guys, I don't need you sacrificing your health for this team. When you're injured, you can't play. If it's hurting a little bit, that's your call. And so I was proud of Sequoia stepping in there and helping. Paige was electric on the bench, calling out the other team's thing. I talked to Jaden yesterday. Her family had a vigil for her sister that was murdered, and it was a beautiful time. I was so happy Jaden could be there and be with her family during the Thanksgiving time as they're going through just an unimaginable time. She has called. She has checked on her teammates. She has been there for her teammates. I won't talk a lot about Shamira, but we have a standard on this team. There's a standard. There's a level of accountability that you have to put up to, that you have to live up to. Young people make mistakes. Out of anybody, probably any coach in America, a lot of times my staff tells me I allow too much grace. But I allow that grace because Lord knows He gave it to me. And I was once a knucklehead that Cindy Stein, Kathy Lindsay, and Teresa Grintz had to put up with. And they gave me grace. They gave me the opportunity to grow through mistakes. We will do the same as this coaching staff. But you have to live up to the standard of the team and be a part of a team. I love these kids. I know they're going to make mistakes. But we have to hold them accountable, or else I would be enabling. And that's not why I got into this profession. I got into this profession to empower and develop young women. And that'll continue to happen.
North Texas coming into the game amongst the nation leaders in field goal percentage defense, and today your team shot 52% from the field as a group. What did you like offensively from your team?
Let me tell you something. I mentioned them shooting 72% from the field. Our young ladies shot 72%. In the fourth quarter, they shot 68%. In the second quarter, they executed. I can't remember any wild shots that I wasn't. I'm quite sure when I go back to the film, I'll look at possessions. But what I'm trying to teach them is understanding tempo. And there were a couple times, just a couple in the game, where we were pushing, just trying to force the issue. Bring it out, make them guard too. So it showed our kids what they're capable of doing against a pretty doggone good team. I've known Jason Burton for a long time, and I love what he does. Our playbook was mirroring each other, but he's got veterans. He's got veterans over there that understand that playbook and run it. So it burned one time where he ran his 3-action, and they scored off that special, which we run the same stuff. But we're going to get there, and that's what I love as long as we continue to stick together.
Purnell got going late, but Jocelyn Moore, the leading scorer on this team, someone averaging 17 points a game, didn't
Yep.
score here today. Others did contribute for them, but in slowing down one of the most lethal scorers for a lethal offense, what contributed to that?
Man, lock in. Lock in and knowing that scouting report and a willingness to want to guard. A willingness to want to guard. I told him that other end's going to take care of itself. But when we lock in and want to guard, we knew somebody else would step up with them. And for me, that's something I got to look at. I got to look at playing my bigs together just a little bit more, especially when Nia got in foul trouble and we could have taken away a little bit of that high-low action that they were trying to do. So that's something we'll work on as we prepare for these upcoming games. But I tell you what, that kid is good. That kid is good. And to make her walk out of here with zero makes, that's big time. That's big time.
You just talked about Randall and Hughes. Both of them had strong games, especially Randall in that first half, shooting a perfect 8 for 8 for 17 points, and Hughes had some big rebounds too. What do
Yeah.
you like from those two down low?
Man, I love Lania's energy and her lock-in today. I knew it at shoot-around, how she was preparing and how she was preparing and how she wanted. On that technical, I told the ref, I was like, come on. We talked about it, and I love her passion. I love her passion. I love the way she competes. But we just got a little too colorful with that one. But you know what? I'll take it because I've said in practice a couple times, get me a couple more Randalls to my coaches because her work ethic, she's going to make mistakes, but her work ethic on that floor, I knew she would bounce back after that last game. Again, Sierra's a warrior for there, but you guys know how I feel. It always begins and ends at that point guard spot. And I have tremendous point guard play from Kiera Love, the kid again, back-to-back 39, 38-minute games as Sequoia comes back. As we get Jaden back into the fold, those numbers will drop. But the kid does everything that you want her to do. Yes, she's going to make mistakes as well, but just the heart is what I think is on display and why our crowds, you hear me, Southern Illinois, why our crowds will continue to get bigger.
Lastly, San Juan is up next for this team. What are you expecting from this trip down to Puerto Rico?
It's a business trip. It's a business trip. Of course, we want our young ladies to have some fun, get into the sun a little bit. But, again, we're going to work on our craft. There's 3 teams, including North Texas. How we schedule is getting ready for February and March. And as a coach sitting here having dropped some games, you second-guess yourself. But I told my staff, I'm going to second-guess myself. But for these kids, this is what we need to get better. We need that to get better. And I know, I always say, should I just give them victories? Should I just help get them victories to pad that schedule, pad those results, or do I get them ready? And there has to be a balance of that. But North Texas has made us better and ready for that trip. It exposed some things that we can go back and work on. But first up is Charlotte, and that's all we're focused on now. And they're a similar team to a North Texas and a SEMO.